Imagine you're stood in your kitchen. The sun is out, it's nice and warm, and you're about to finish off a salmon dish that you've just cooked by squeezing a wedge of lemon over it. You pick up the lemon and notice how bright and yellow it is. And even though it's warm in your kitchen, the lemon feels cool in your hands. You grab a sharp knife and slice the lemon in half. You pick up half of the lemon and look at the inside and see how juicy and ripe it is. Then you stick out your tongue and you lick the lemon. And your mouth smarts at the acidity as the lemon hits your taste buds. Then you give the lemon another lick. And I ask, is your mouth watering yet? As long as we have a powerful image in our minds, then our imagination can be strong enough to cause a physical reaction in our body. Imagination can also create a strong emotional reaction just as easily, like if we imagine walking down a dark alley in a rough area. The licking the lemon scenario is an oldie but goldie demonstration of how using our imagination can create a physical response. And in the up and coming videos, we will need to use our imaginations to help us congruently deal with your true feelings about the past events that happened way back in your past, but still affect you today, but we're unable to feel the effects of those past events as they dwell within a deeper part of us. When we learn ways to bring out those past events from the deeper parts of you and into your present and conscious mind, we will need to find a way to be able to handle those feelings so they don't literally tear us apart. And we will need to find a way that burns through those feelings created by those long, but not forgotten by your emotional self, events of your past, so they don't sink back into us and become replaced by a particular workhouse effect. Like in last Thursday's video, when I said that the anxiety that I lived with for over 10 years turned out to be suppressed anger and rage. And if I hadn't found a way to burn through that anger and rage whenever it came to the surface, then it would have just sunk back into the deeper parts of me and be replaced once again by anxiety. Through this final stage of using your guidance feelings, I'll be giving more direction than I have in previous videos. I'll be giving you more information how to deal with the most intense feelings of your emotional palette. As being given more direction from me telling you exactly what to do will cut down the time that you have to live with those animalistic ranges of feelings. But though I'll be giving you more guidance, please still keep in mind that it's all about you and your progress and nothing to do with me or what I experienced while working through this part of the system. Meaning that you should still remember that you are the important one here and not me. I say this as the last thing I want is for you to put all your faith in another person when your faith to be able to turn your bad feelings into good feelings should always be in yourself. As we already know, the way to deal with animalistic ranges of feelings is to raw out those feelings whilst we stay connected to emotional pain. So let's go through this process in more detail, as it's important to know how to deal with the most intense feelings before we begin working with them. The rawing process. We've already learnt about the importance of privacy, playing music in other rooms, locking the door of your rawing room, and using a towel to muffle the sounds as you raw. Then comes the correct way to raw, which is to bend at the hips, put a towel to your mouth and raw in a lower pitch that you can manage. Rawing in this way allows you to feel the vibrations at the bottom of your neck or at the top of your chest. If you're feeling vibrations or even pain above where a man's Adam's apple would be, then you aren't making a deep enough sound as you raw. Next, we need to think of an animal that we see as strong, powerful and intimidating. As in your mind you're going to become half you and whatever animal that you find is intimidating. As in our minds, we're going to become this half you and half animal and walk, move and roar the way this hybrid animal would. If the scenario I opened up this video with caused your mouth to start watering, then you've already had a taster, no pun intended, of how powerful our imaginations can be. And if your mouth didn't start watering, then look back at what the film The Exorcist did to people's imaginations when it was first released. as cinemas had to call ambulances to deal with people that was passed out and was affected physically by the film, and even priests blessing cinema goers. The film was just that, a film. But back then, what it did to our imaginations affected our minds and bodies to an extreme degree. That is the setup. Let's now talk about the roaring session. As soon as you step into the roaring room, you'll be walking in as the half you, half animal hybrid. And as you walk into the room as this animal, you will see the past scenario happening in the room within your mind. This scenario will come to you whilst you are working with your guidance feelings to link back to specific past events. So if nothing's coming to mind now, it won't be, and it's nothing to worry about. Let's say that the scenario is someone hurting you with a child. You would see the scenario in your mind as though it's happening in the room in front of you. Then begin roaring out all that emotional pain that you experience in the moment at the person or people who hurt you back then. And in your mind, separate that person from the past you and isolate that person in the corner of the room, and in your mind, roar out all of that emotion at them. And as you do, you will see in your mind just how much they are terrified of this half you, half animal hybrid. And there is not going to stop roaring at them until the person in the corner breaks down, starts crying, and fills their pants. And even then, the half you, half animal hybrid is going to see this happen in their mind, and they're just going to keep on roaring and roaring until you as an animal feels better. Then in your mind, see the aggressor turn and run away, while you turn back to the you as a small child and make comforting noises that the half you and half animal would, to show the little you that this animal will never hurt the past you, and it will always be there to protect the past you. Then once your breathing has more or less returned to normal, in your mind blow up the image into millions of pieces and let them all burn away and leave the room. Then in your mind transform back into the real you and leave the roaring room and go do something else. After your roaring session. As soon as you leave your roaring room, you step out as you and not as the animal. You will then need to get to know how you feel, not by working with your guidance feelings, but by letting your feelings settle back into you. Roaring can really take it out of you. If you've really gone for it and you've roared out a lot of emotion, you may feel like you've had a pretty intense workout. But it's now time to have a bite to eat and to do something to take your mind off what you've been doing. Watch a movie, listen to music, go for a walk or a run, or even for a drive. And most of all, enjoy your new emotional freedom. By doing these things, you will get back into the real world, and your feelings will sink back into you. And when they do, you'll experience a new you, as the feelings that sink back into you won't be animalistic feelings that you've been carrying for possibly decades, as they will have been burnt up during your roaring session. The feelings that will be sinking back into you will be good feelings, strong feelings, and just amazing feelings. The feelings that sink back into you will allow you to experience a new set of feelings within your emotional palette. In this video, I'll end by saying that there is a world of difference between hearing what to do and actually experiencing it for yourself. But also keeping in mind that we need to do this at the right time when you're literally feeling animalistic ranges of feelings. If you feel as though you can't cope with your emotional pain right now, then this probably is animalistic ranges of feelings, meaning that roaring could be very beneficial for you to try in the way that I described in this video. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.